Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, so I read 3 texts without purports, some texts describing unhappy things, and then we will chant text 21, which has a purport. 4 texts. I read 4 texts without purport. Okay, so text 17. Hiranyakashipur bhratu samparetasya dukkita kritva katodakadini bhratri putrana santvayat. I guess I will read, should I read, I will read the translation after we chant this verse. 18 and 19. Sakunim sambaram drishtim bhuta santapanamrikam kalanabam mahanabham harisma srumatot kacham tanmataram rushabhanum ditim cha jananim gira slakshnaya desakalagya idam aha janeshvara. Sri Hiranyakashipuruvacha Ambam bahevadu putra viramarhatta sochitum riporabimukhe slagya suranam vada ipsitam. And the text on the board, which we can chant responsibly. Bhutanamiha samvasa prapayam iva suvrate daivenaikatranītānam Unnitanam svakarmabhihi Bhutanamiha samvasa Prapayamiva suvrate Daivenaikatranītānam Unnitanam svakarmabhihi Bhutanamiha samvasa Prapayam iva suvrate Daivenaikatranītānam Unnitanam svakarmabhihi. Okay, so I will read first the previous verses, the translation, and then we will read word for word for this verse and the translation. So verse 17, translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. After performing the ritualistic observances for the death of his brother, Hiranyakashipu, being extremely unhappy, tried to pacify his nephews. O king, Hiranyakashipu was extremely angry, but since he was a great politician, he knew how to act according to the time and situation. With sweet words, he began pacifying his nephews, whose names were Shakuni, Shambara, Drishti, Bhuta Santapana, means one who tortures living entities, Bhuta Santapana, very nice names. Hare Krishna. Vrika means like a wolf. Kalanabha, Mahanabha, Harismasru, a yellow beard. And Utkacha. He also consoled their mother, his sister-in-law, Rusha Bhanu, as well as his own mother, Diti. He spoke to them as follows. And we have, strangely enough, Shri Hiranyakashipu Vacha. Some places it is explained why Hiranyakashipu is titled as Shri here. And the reason for this is, what would you say? Very nice reason. Because he was the father of Prahlad Maharaj. That's why he's Shri Hiranyakashipu. But in the translation, Prabhupada doesn't put it here in this particular place. Hiranyakashipu said, "My dear mother, sister-in-law and nephews, you should not lament for the death of the great hero, for a hero's death in front of his enemy is glorious and desirable." Who was the enemy of Hiranyaksha? Who killed Hiranyaksha? Varahadev, yes, Varahadev. We have Varahagat nearby, big new temple being built just around the corner. And 21, let's do word for word. Bhutanam, of all living entities, Iha, in this material world, Samvasa, the living together, Prapayam, in a place for drinking cold water, Iva, like, Suvrate, O my gentle mother, Daivena, by the superior arrangement. So Daivena, you can see he practically mentions divinity, the same word, divinity, Daivena, right? Ekatra, in one place. Nitanam, of those brought. Unnitanam, of those led apart. Svakarmabhi, by their own reactions. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. My dear mother, in a restaurant or place for drinking cold water, many travelers are brought together. And after drinking water, they continue to their respective destinations. Similarly, living entities join together in a family, and later, as a result of their own actions, they are led apart to their destinations. Purport. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha ahankara vimudhatma kartahamidi manyate. The bewildered soul, under the influence of the three modes of material nature, thinks himself the doer of activities, which are in actuality carried out by nature. Bhagavad-Gita 3:27. Prabhupada starts with this quote. All living entities act exactly according to the directions of Prakriti, material nature, because in the material world we are fully under a higher control. All the living entities in this material world have come here only because they wanted to be equal to Krishna in enjoyment, and have thus been sent here to be conditioned by material nature in different degrees. In the material world, a so-called family is a combination of several persons in one home to fulfill the terms of their imprisonment. Cellmates, yeah? As criminal prisoners scatter as soon as their terms are over and they are released, all of us who have temporarily assembled as family members will continue to our respective destinations. Another example given is that family members are like straws carried together by the waves of a river. Sometimes such straws mix together in whirlpools and later, dispersed again by the same waves, they float alone in the water. Although Hiranyakashipu was a demon, this is a very important point here, he had Vedic knowledge and understanding. Thus, the advice given, so there is also Asuri Varnashrama. In fact, most Varnashrama we can think of is correctly called Asuri Varnashrama, demoniac or chaotic materialistic Varnashrama. Therefore, although originally it was intended as Daivi Varnashrama, Bhaktisiddhantaji and Bhaktivinoda Thakur had to add this description, Daivi Varnashram, to distinguish from what we think is Varnashram. It's not enough to have the division, it also has to be intended for the pleasure of the Lord, as Prabhupada will describe a little later. So he was fully happy with Varnashram and with some philosophical points. Thus, the advice given to his family members, his sister-in-law, mother and nephews, was quite sound. The demons, we have the whole chapter of Hiranyakashipu Gita in the Bhagavatam, and it's actually basically correct. There's nothing wrong with it, what he says. The demons are considered highly elevated in knowledge. In one place, Prabhupada calls Hiranyakashipu a great jnani. Right? But because they do not use their good intelligence for what? For service. You have the book open, or do you know? For the service of the Lord. For the service of the Lord. They are called demons. Hare Krishna. So who is a demon? One who doesn't know, or one who does not use whatever you know, for the service of the Lord. The demigods, however, act very intelligently to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the difference. Not knowing something, but the intention behind your actions. Fourth canto says, karma is earned by the subtle body, not by the gross body. So intentions matter a lot. This is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam 1:2-13 as follows. Ata pumbir-dvija sreshta varnasrama vibhagasha svanushthitasya dharmasya sansidhir haritoshanam. O best among the twice-born, it is therefore concluded that the highest perfection one can achieve by discharging his prescribed duties, dharma, according to caste divisions and orders of life, is to please the Lord, Hari. To become a demigod or to become godly, whatever one's occupation, one must satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So I'll read again this text. Bhutanam iha samvasa prapayam iva suvrate Daivanai-katra nitanam unnitanam svakarmabi. My dear mother, in a restaurant or place for drinking cold water, many travelers are brought together, and after drinking water, they continue to their respective destinations. Similarly, living entities join together in a family, and later, as a result of their own actions, they are led apart to their destinations. Om Agyanadimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmiritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vanchakalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhubheva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Rup Sanatan Bhatta Raghunatha Shri Jiva Gopala Bhadadasa Raghunatha Eichayar Gurur Karan Charana Vandan Jahoite Vignana Shabishta Puran. If you offer your respectful obeisances to these six gurus, six Gosamis, all obstacles will be destroyed and you will achieve the fulfillment of all your best desires. Shri Chaitanya Padamboja Madhupebhyo Namo Namah Katanchita Shrayad Yesham Shrapitad Gandha Bhagaved Chaitanya Charitamrita. I offer my respectful obeisances to the devotees of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who are like the honeybees collecting the nectar from the lotus feet of the Lord. If somehow or other you take shelter of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's devotees, even a dog can get some part of that nectar. Yasya prasadadagyopi sadhyak sarvagyatam rajasa Shri Chaitanya Devo me Bhagavan samprasidatu. Another one from Chaitanya Charitamrita. May Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, be fully merciful unto me. By His grace, a complete fool can get all knowledge in one moment. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I will recite one more verse, the favorite verse of Gita Nagari Prabhu. Mama Ratnavanik Bhavam Ratnanya Parichinvitaha Santu Santu Jihremi Na Svasvanta Vinodakrit. A few days ago we had Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's disappearance day. That's his verse. He uses it several times in the Bhagavatam. Despite being ignorant in the science of jewels, I boldly take up the role of a jewel merchant, but I will not be shy, because let the devotees laugh at me. I will not be shy, because at least I will give a little fun to my dear devotees. Or as Gita Nagari Prabhu translates, I will perform a greatly pious act of giving some loves to devotees. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Gaur-Nitai, Shri Krishna Balaram, Shri Radha Shama Sundar Lalita Vishaka Ki Jai. This is the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, and we are here to engage in devotional service. And this is Srila Prabhupada's genius. How did he translate bhakti? Bhakti is what we do, bhakti is what we want to do. Bhakti is also our goal. And you can see that some people translate bhakti as love. Some people translate it as service. Srila Prabhupada, in his brilliant way, translates this as devotional service. So you can see, it's not passive, because service is there, but it's not external. It's not just running around doing something. It's also devotional. Service is good, not enough. Devotional is good, not enough. It has to be devotional service. Two things together. So here we have a very strange section. This chapter we have the paramount demon, the top demon, the first demon of the universe. Sometimes he is described as the first demon of the universe. When my Guru Maharaj, Srila Gopal Krishna Maharaj, gave me the first initiation, and he gave me the name Adi Purusha Das, I immediately ran to, in the BBT in Korsnäs, Sweden, we had, BBT has wonderful library, so I immediately went to the good old Monier Williams Sanskrit dictionary, and I checked what does it say about Adi Purusha, name, and I was startled to see that one of the ancient usages of this name is to give the name to Hiranyakashipu. Adi Puru, one of the first big guys. So I thought, I should be careful. Whose servant am I? Am I the servant of Govinda Mani Purusha, or am I servant of somebody else? So Hiranyakashipu is one of the biggest demons, one of the most dangerous demons. He kept the whole universe under his control. And he's so famous, every day we sing his name 2 times. Right? Not so favorably, we sing it not so favorably, but we sing in the Nrisimha prayers. And here he speaks good philosophy. We have the whole chapter, he gives good advice. Actually, you can see the things he says are classic statements from philosophy, from the Vedic philosophy, from the Upanishads. This example about family members meeting in a restaurant for a short while, it's a classic example. just like the straws, also classic example. And then what does he say? He say, don't be influenced by your material emotions. Don't be influenced by your mind. You are above the mind. You are not your mind and you are not your body. You are not this role. Upadi in Varnashram Dharma. You are not this temporary role. Upadi. So is it correct? It is definitely correct. Yes. Of course, there is a little problem with that particular section, because what does he do afterwards? He goes and challenges the Lord. He goes and tries to kill the Lord. Which sounds pretty foolish to me, if he didn't have some, some knowledge seems to have been missing. He misunderstood the position of the Lord. You can see that Hiranyakashipu thinks that the Lord is a post and he can occupy it himself. So here you can see he plays the role of a great Mayavadi, of a very powerful Mayavadi, who has some correct philosophy, has a lot of correct philosophy, but basically he wants to become this big ruler and controller of the universe, Hiranyakashipu. So it's not enough to have some correct philosophical points. It's not enough to have correct philosophical points. It's also very important how the person acts and what are the person's intentions. So this is a big challenge to every educational program. Prabhupada writes in the Bhagavatam that how can you save the society? He says, you don't have kings like Parikshit Maharaj. So what solution does Prabhupada offer in Canto 1? He says, we should spread Bhagavad Dharma. We should systematically preach the Bhagavatam, and this will help to remove the corruption and bribery and blackmail and vice from the society. So that's Prabhupada's program. In another conversation he says, even if you are elected the President of the United States of America, do you think you can just tell people, you be like this and they will follow you? He says, no, they will not follow you. He says, you must change the people, educate the people. You must preach. You can see this is Prabhupada's practical program, and we see that there is a lot of very good result, very good effect of Prabhupada's preaching. In 50 years since Prabhupada founded our society, we see that all the developed countries have at least 10% of vegetarians who declare themselves vegetarians, and among young people it's 20% or more. So it's a very positive dynamics. Maybe not in India, I don't know, that's slightly different, but that's a separate topic. India also has some other good things. So Srila Prabhupada's program does work, although it takes time. So Hiranyakashipu speaks the right philosophy. So what is the lesson for us? I remember reading once one horrible statement, horrible for me, very terrifying. I cannot find where, I think I read it in Narada Pancharatra, but I cannot find this statement. So if you know the source of this statement, please help me find it, because I found it and then I lost it and then I found it again and again lost it. I don't know where I wrote it down, the source. The statement was that the reason why Kali Yuga spreads is because people speak about dharma without following it. I think you gave a class recently in Mayapur on that, isn't it? Like 2 months ago in Kartik. People speak about dharma without following it, without doing what they speak about. It sounds very heavy. Yeah? That, so then what do we do? Right? Are we really perfect in following what we are speaking? That's also Prabhupada's advice. So to the extent you understand and accept that you speak. And that's what makes preaching good. You can see everything Srila Prabhupada was speaking was what he lived. And then he could speak strongly. He lived everything he spoke. If I'm 19 years old and I speak the same things without living it, it will have a different effect. It will have a different effect from what Srila Prabhupada could achieve. So, Srila Prabhupada says that what is the difference between demoniac, asuri varnasham, and divine varnasham? This is that a demon may have knowledge, sound knowledge, correct knowledge, but a devotee does not only have some correct knowledge, but he also acts according to this knowledge. Because here, Hiranyakashipu says, don't come under the influence of emotions. Okay, Hiranyaksha was killed, but it's good, because he died on the battlefield and he goes to a good destination. And he is a hero. And anyway, we are all spirit, we are all souls, so why do you become influenced by your emotions? So he says, these are correct things. But what does he do afterwards? He goes and tries to fight Vishnu. So he himself does not follow what he says. He speaks this, but he doesn't act this. He speaks, don't follow your mind. He speaks, don't succumb to your emotions, but he succumbs to anger. He succumbs to pride. He's the example of pride and anger. A person who has controlled the whole universe and still was angry all the time. Still something was not right, always. It's always there. So today is Madhvacharya's disappearance day, and Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took 2 points from each sampradaya, and from, according to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and from Madhva Sampradaya, from Madhvacharya, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took exactly this point, complete rejection of Kevala Advaita. Kevala Advaita. Complete rejection of Mayavad, of monism, undifferentiated monism, where people think that we are equal to God in all respects, or we can become God in all respects. So Madhvacharya was speaking very strongly against it. So he would very strongly defeat Hiranyakashipu's preaching here. And the second point Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took from Madhvacharya was acceptance of worship of the deity, Shrimurti Seva. Shrimurti Seva. So Madhvacharya, we know that. Who is the main deity in Madhva Sampradaya? Krishna. Where? Would it be? Yes. And it's actually Vrindavan Krishna. Even though there are some, it's not so easy for everybody there to understand Vrindavan Krishna. This is in fact the form of Vrindavan Krishna. Rukmini wanted to see how did Krishna look in Vrindavan. And then there was a deity for her with Krishna holding to the churning rod. You know, when they churn butter in Vrindavan, so Krishna is holding that churning rod. So that's the deity she had. And then Madhvacharya discovered this. He saved some, helped some ship from sinking, and then they gave him a big slab of tilak, and inside that tilak he found, so Gopi Chandan from Dwaraka, and in that slab, huge piece of tilak, he found that deity, beautiful deity, and that's the main deity, and he wrote Krishna, this Dvadasha Stotra, in honor of this Krishna deity in Udupi. So that's the second point Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took from his sampradaya. Do you want to know what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took from other sampradayas? No. Yes. So from Rudra Sampradaya, from the Rudra Sampradaya, which is Vishnu Swami, and nowadays it's been Vallabha Acharya. So this is total dependence on Krishna. Tadiya Sarvasva Bhava, total dependence or surrender. And they call, Vallabhacharya calls this Nirodha, total submission. And Raga Marg, spontaneous, they call it Pushti Marg. Yeah? So these two are common with the Rudra Sampradaya. From Nimbarka, 2 points were, this is Kumara Sampradaya. So 2 points were Ekanta Radikasraya, exclusive shelter of Radhika, and the exalted mood of the gopis, love for Shri Krishna, Gopi Bhava. So these 2 points are common with Nimbarka Sampradaya. And Sri Sampradaya, you know that one is Bhakta Jana Seva, Vaishnava Seva, importance of Vaishnava Seva. And another one is Ananya Bhakti, Bhakti free from karma and jnana processes, dependence on other processes. So these are, and we know that in the temple of Gandharvika Giridhari in Mayapur, Bhaktisiddhantaji established 4 Sampradaya Acharyas to show that we honor all of them, and they all prepared ground for Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva philosophy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which gives the perfect solution to all of us. So we can see that Bhagavatam teaches us in different ways. Sometimes Bhagavatam tests us. We have several tests. We have many tests in the Bhagavatam. So Jiva Goswami explains. We have, for example, final test in Canto 12 by Shukadeva Goswami. He arranges the final test to Parikshit Maharaj. He says, so now Parikshit Maharaj, you think that you are one with Brahman and be free from fear. That's it. And so Mayavadis would be very happy to hear this. But Parikshit Maharaj passes this test with flying colors. He says, yes, I will immerse my mind in the Supreme Spirit Brahman by thinking of his wonderful pastimes, of his wonderful form. And then I will be totally free from all fear. In devotional service I will immerse. So he shows correct understanding of this. What is it? Advaya Jnana, Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavaniti Shabdete. And in the 6th canto, there was another test. Shukadeva Goswami says, how to save people from hell? He says, well, you do prayashchita, you do some ritual to repent, atonement, prayashchita, rituals. And Parikshit Maharaj says, Maharaj, but we see people act like elephants. They go take bath, they take some prayashchita, do some ritual, then they come out and put the same dust on their body. They do the same thing as they did before, or worse. So then Shukadeva Goswami says, oh yes, then, okay, then tapasa brahmacharyena shamena chadamena cha, yeah, okay, you do some, control your mind, control your senses, do austerity, and he looks, Parikshit looks doubtful at him, and then, okay, yes, jnana is also not the solution. Kechit kevalaya bhaktya, only kevala bhakti, only pure bhakti is the true solution, which truly immediately removes all the dangers. So, for us, the lesson here is that we should not be like Hiranyakashipu, speaking the correct philosophy and acting in some whimsical way, not according to Krishna's desires. And this is the difference between a happy devotee and unhappy devotee. There are 6 things which destroy bhakti. What are the 6 things which destroy bhakti? Atyahara, overeating, prayasa, over-endeavoring, material over-endeavoring, prajalpa, useless mundane talk, especially gossip and criticizing, or sadhuninda, niyamagraha, janasangascha, lolyamcha, greed for material things, association with materialistic people, and niyamagraha. Niyamagraha is niyama agraha and niyama agraha. Either rejecting rules and regulations or following rules and regulations without understanding the purpose. So this is easy to do. Who of you has experience when you started chanting, you felt special joy and excitement in the beginning? Okay. Who felt special joy when you first came to the kirtan or to the temple? You felt so much inspiration. Yeah? Who felt ecstatic reading Prabhupada's books in the beginning, right? So sometimes the colors are not so bright a few years down the lane. Why so? Why is it? Isn't it supposed that we are getting closer to Krishna? I remember one devotee was telling me, "Look, Prabhu, when I joined, I was a pure devotee. Now I am so fallen. I am so fallen." Yeah, yes. And what do we think? We think it's bad association. This Bhakta John and Bhakta Peter, that's the problem. because Bhakta John is my Bhakta leader or something, that's why. This is why. It's not how Rupa Goswami describes the problem. The problem is that when we start to do something, we are forced to be extremely conscious. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare, Hare. Yeah, it's all very conscious. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And because we are fully absorbed, and we know this is for Krishna. I don't want to do this, but I want to do this for Krishna. So we have the corresponding effect. But then, there's the brain is constructed in a very economic way. So if you repeat something several times, it learns this very quickly, and it goes down to, it's called basal ganglia. It's some place in the brain which is responsive for automatic repeated routine actions. And you can do this on autopilot. You can do anything on autopilot. Yeah? I read that the simultaneous translators are very highly paid professionals, and it's a very high skill, simultaneous translation. And I read even that those who are simultaneous translators, interpreters in the UN, they sometimes expend as many calories as these Olympic swimmers. But here we have already two, maybe three, I don't know, simultaneous translate, and they're smiling. They translate and they're smiling. So devotees can do simultaneous translation, no problem. I sometimes joke, because we have a good experience, I'm not speaking about the translators here, but in general, that as devotees, we are very well trained in saying one thing and thinking another thing. Our brain being engaged somewhere else. So, therefore, this is oftentimes the situation. That we know what to say, we know what to do. We even know what we have to feel, but do we feel it? So that's the difference. Bhanuswami, when he was commenting on this niyamagraha, he said, you have to bring it back. I'm doing this for achieving love for Krishna. Do you know it? Is this why you are here? So can all of us right now think, okay, we are all here to develop love for Krishna. So we are sitting, we are studying the Bhagavatam, we are hearing the Bhagavatam. Why? To deepen our love for Krishna. Krishna likes Bhagavatam, Krishna likes when we hear, Krishna likes when we discuss the Bhagavatam. So we are doing this to develop love for Krishna. This is Rupa Goswami's definition of sadhana. Kriti sadhya sadhya bhava sa sadhana abhida. sadhana is using your mind and senses in actions favorable to Krishna with the goal, with the purpose, with the aim of achieving love, ecstatic love for Krishna. And Nitya Siddhasya Bhavasya Prakatam Hridi Sadhyata, which Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami translates as Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema, Sadhya Kabunoi. That Krishna Prema is eternally there. It's not some extraneous, external goal. It's not because Kriti sounds like imitation in Sanskrit. So he says it's not imitation, it's not faking. It's something that's already present. It's not faking, it's not artificial. It's not hypocrisy. It's already present. And Shravanadi Shudachite Koroye Udoi. As you hear and chant and do other processes of devotional service, that helps this Uday, rise. This prema to rise. And Prabhupada, some other people may give other translations, like we even heard it right here, but Prabhupada gives a very clear translation, it's there in the heart, in your heart. That's Prabhupada's position, and we follow Prabhupada's position. That's sadhana. This is sadhana. If I chant, and I don't have this as my goal, this is not sadhana. You may call it something, bhakti unmukhi sukriti or something, but if I don't have a goal of developing love for Krishna, it's not called sadhana technically. Something nice, something very auspicious, but to make sadhana sadhana, I have to set it as my purpose in doing this activity. Not because otherwise they will give me no prashadam, or otherwise they will chastise me, they will think badly about me or something. No, we are doing this to please Krishna, and when Krishna is pleased and says, I am happy with you, Tribhuvanath Prabhu, what do you want? You say, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, give me Vetana, give me the salary of Krishna Prema. That's my salary, Krishna Prema. That's the Prabhu wants to get on the ISKCON TV, huh? So this is the one-step medicine, solution to so many problems that we experience either individually or even as a society. Even as a society. If I remember, I do this to develop love for Krishna. How will I treat other devotees? If I remember, I'm here to develop love for Krishna. Will I be kind and friendly to other devotees? Is there a better chance I will be kind and friendly to other devotees? If I remember, I'm doing this not to get high marks, high points, big donations, collection or whatever, but to develop love for Krishna. I will interact completely differently with the devotee. I will interact differently with non-devotees. I will not either be neglectful, disrespectful, or flattering unnecessarily in a material way. I will, if I remember my goal is love for Krishna, I do this to develop love for Krishna, it will change the essence of everything I do. So this is the most important lesson. Also from this Leela, Hiranyakashipu had some knowledge. He was preaching. Did he preach this knowledge to develop love for Krishna? He just didn't want some trouble in his palace. That was his one single desire. That's why he used philosophy. Yeah? So we can use philosophy for other purposes too, no problem. But if we really want to change ourselves, transform positively ourselves, transform positively the whole society, is to set again and again, I'm doing this to develop love for Krishna. This is to develop love for Krishna. I remember I was, some years ago, I was just walking around the Tulsi. Some years ago, you remember, everybody was walking around the Tulsi in this temple room. Tulsi was there in the center. And I remember just near this picture, it struck me. that, I'm chanting, I'm chanting this to develop love for Krishna. Ooh. Really? Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. It completely changed the taste of my japa, at least at that time. Not for the eternity, unfortunately, because I forget again. But this is the medicine. This is the antidote. This is the medicine for niyamagraha. This is the basis for our practice, and this is oftentimes the medicine to cure our relationships. We are in it for love for Krishna. Krishna prema, bhava bhakti. This is why we do everything we do. If you do this, everything will be wonderful. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Srimad Acharya ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. 9 o'clock ki jai. Prasadam breakfast ki jai. Vaishnava Sangha ki jai. All right. Does anybody have any objections, comments, commentaries?
What is the meaning of
Gandharvika? Gandharvika means a girl who sings in a with celestial beauty and dances. Because she's the original singer, the most wonderful singer, and who sings for Krishna. So that's been the name Bhaktisiddhantaji gave to Gandharvika Giridhari in that Vrajapatan, his main original place of bhajan, and this is where he established the printing press. So that's why also the BBT in the North European BBT in Sweden, also in Korsnas, they have the deities Gandharvika Giridhari. Same name, Gandharvika Giridhari. So that's the name. So she's, I don't know, maybe also it has something to do, because she's singing, so maybe she will give extra blessings to sing the glories of Krishna in the form of books glorifying Krishna. Maybe that was one of the reasons Bhaktisiddhantaji gave this name to these deities. Mark Prabhu. Wait a minute. Are you asking this question to get closer to love for Krishna?
Yes.
Okay.
My question is it enough to theoretically understand the sadhya, the goal of life, theoretically enough to understand the sadhya?
Enough for what?
For obtaining the goal.
You see, Bhakti and Krishna's name are divine, transcendental, and all-powerful. So even if theoretically, one day, lying on a comfortable couch, you hear this on the radio or on the Vrindavan TV or something, and you think, without chanting or anything, not the majority, but let's take the theoretical scenario. Person doesn't chant, doesn't do anything, but lying on his couch, he hears this and thinks, Krishna prema sounds like a good concept. Good concept. Could be a good goal. Yeah, I think that's a nice goal. I want to have this goal. So, you see, Krishna is very kind. Krishna is in the heart. Krishna sees this. How wonderful! This person in his heart theoretically decided, Krishna prema is his goal. He is such a good person. Okay, let me send him devotees. Again and again, life after life. 1,000 lives after 1,000 lives. So, you know, sooner or later, he'll be frustrated, and maybe he'll decide, okay, they say I should chant. Okay, let me try. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Right? So, but if you want to do it as Prabhupada wants, you know, finish this business in one life, in this life, for Bhaktisiddhantaji, then theoretical should translate into practical, because Hiranyakashipu is already here, having some theoretical knowledge, but not proper application of this knowledge. So then, if we want to do it properly, then we need to change our actions in many areas also. Okay? Hare Krishna. Shri Krishna Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Class. From Bhagavad-Gita 12th chapter, this bhakti-yoga chapter, God in the last shloka he says, Yedu dharmamritamanam.
Yatoktam
The person
paripas.
who follows this path, the imperishable path, is very dear to me.
Yes.
So now I was confused that before this, Lord Krishna experienced those qualities of a devotee which make him dear to the Lord. So this Yedu dharmamritam, that is the dharma, refers to those devotees having these qualities, or the section in which Lord says, you remember me, you will be always with me, and then if you cannot remember, then you practice. So which are the devotees who are dear to Krishna, who are practicing Krishna consciousness, or those devotees who actually develop those qualities which Krishna is saying are going to?
Yeah, 12th chapter is a beautiful chapter. It's the very wonderful chapter which has the title Bhakti-yoga, and also it has only 20 verses, and each verse is just Anushtup verse. It's the shortest chapter if you want to learn some chapter, you know. Chapter 15 also has 20 verses, but some verses are larger. So there Krishna describes that bhakti is higher than monism. Then he describes different stages of practice, and then the last 8 verses, sometimes are called Bhakta-ashtaka, where Krishna glorifies his bhakta. And there he describes many nice qualities a devotee may have, like being satisfied, being equipoised, treating everybody with friendship, being merciful to others, being expert, and so forth. And then in the last verse, he says, Yetu dharmamritamidam yatoktam pariupasate. It's an interesting verse because it can be translated in several different ways. If you translate this literally, as Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur does, Yetu dharmamritam idam, one who pariupasate, worships. Pariupasate means worship. One who worships this nectarian immortal path, dharmamritam. Nectarian immortal shadaya paraya, with faith. So what does it mean? He worships this nectarian path. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says it means even somebody who doesn't have all these qualities, but he wants to develop all these qualities for Krishna, for Krishna's pleasure. He doesn't have them, but he wants to have them for Krishna. Then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says he is ativa, very, very dear to me. More dear than somebody who is very qualified on some other path, not on the path of pure bhakti. So somebody who simply sets this goal of pure bhakti, and bhakti with all these beautiful qualities, mercy, friendship, non-enviousness, and other, for Krishna. Then Krishna says he's more dear to me than somebody perfect on some other path. That's Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary to 12:20. So, again, it's setting the proper goal.
Also regarding as we progress in Krishna consciousness, like Narada says, first transcendental knowledge develops, then we get some mystic powers, and then prema bhakti. So, even we don't experience prema, but we experience some kind of transcendental knowledge awakening. So, isn't that we are actually processing? We are not doing niyamaka and exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. We not exactly, we feel a refinement of consciousness. We're not exactly, I would say, overwhelming love of God. But we see that this is how bhakti gives
results.
So isn't it that kind of reforms that we are actually in that path, that because some transcendental knowledge has developed in our heart?
Yeah, certainly. You can definitely see that bhakti produces many amazing results. It's just that a devotee doesn't settle for lesser results. Even they may look wonderful in ordinary people's estimation, they may think this is very wonderful, but bhakti will give everything. This is 2 verses from the Bhagavatam. Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur loves to quote again and again in so many of his purports. This yat karmana yat tapasa jnana vairagyata schayat yogena dana dharmena sriyo biritarairapi sarvam mad bhakti yogena mad bhakto labaten jasa svargapa varga madhama yat katanchidyadi vanchati. He says that whatever a person may achieve by hard work, by meditation, by giving charity, by developing spiritual knowledge, or any auspicious process, my devotee obtains easily, anjasa means easily and quickly, by bhakti. If he simply desires this, whether it be heavenly enjoyments, liberation, or my abode. So we can see there are many, sometimes blessings given in the Bhagavatam. Oh, if you read Varaha story, your wounds on the battlefield will heal. Or you read Dhruva story, you will be rich. Or you read Prithu Maharaj, you will be intelligent. Or you read, so many blessings which are, not so spiritual on the face of it. But they show the glory and power of bhakti. Bhakti gives everything. You don't need anything outside of bhakti. Bhakti includes everything and gives everything. That's the Bhagavatam's conclusion. And that's our conviction. But what does it mean? It also means that you will be tested. You will be offered so many things in this world and also on other planets and even outside this world. You can read Gop Kumar's journey in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, how he goes through every planet. And he gets so many, these are side effects. Liberation, material opulence, all these things are side effects. And a devotee may sometimes be attracted to these things. And, therefore, this is why we read Srimad Bhagavatam to make a proper decision beforehand that my actual goal is Krishna Prema. That's what we desire. That's why a devotee will refuse sometimes either liberation, because he says, what kind of liberation? Is this your service? Is this for your service? Oh, this is not for your service. This is just a liberation. No, I'll better practice a little more to go to Krishna Loka. So yes, bhakti is producing everything, and you can see that in devotees' lives many things change, and sometimes we become distracted. We think, oh yes, life is perfect. I have my paratha with ghee, and that's it. What else is needed? But Krishna Prema is the goal. Krishna Prema is the goal. So if we keep this in our mind, this is the solution to do our practice. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. My humble obeisances. Vancha kalpa tarupascha, kripa sindhu bhavacha, dipanam Vaishnava.